The power of a praying heart. The story of Naomi and the midnight oil. In a small village nestled between rolling hills and endless fields, there lived a woman named Naomi. She was known for two things: her unwavering faith and her humble little oil shop. From sunrise to sunset, she pressed olives, filling clay jars with golden oil. But more than oil, Naomi poured out something even greater: prayer. Each morning, before opening her shop, she knelt by her window and whispered, "Lord, bless the work of my hands. Let this oil be a light to those in darkness." One year, a terrible drought struck the land. The olive trees withered and the rivers dried up. Naomi's business suffered, and soon her jars stood empty. No oil, no income, no hope. One evening, as she sat in her shop, staring at the last flickering lamp, a knock came at her door. It was an old widow, her eyes weary with hunger. "Naomi," she pleaded, "I have no food, no light for my home. Can you spare some oil?" Tears welled in Naomi's eyes. She had barely enough for herself, but deep in her heart she heard a whisper, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." With trembling hands, she poured her last bit of oil into the widow's jar. "The Lord will provide," she whispered. That night, Naomi knelt in prayer. "Father, I have nothing left, but I trust you. You are my provider." The next morning, Naomi awoke to a strange fragrance, the rich scent of fresh olive oil. Every empty jar she had was overflowing with oil. Tears streamed down her face as she fell to her knees. "Lord, you are faithful." Word of the miracle spread through the village, and people flocked to Naomi's shop. They came not just for oil, but for the power of prayer that filled every jar she touched. Naomi never lacked again. She became a blessing to widows, orphans, and the poor. Her shop was no longer just a business. It was a beacon of God's provision. Years later, Naomi's oil shop had become a thriving business. But more than that, it was a place where people came to pray, to believe, and to witness miracles. One evening, as she watched the lamps flickering in the village, she smiled and whispered her favorite prayer, "Lord, let my life be like this oil poured out for your glory." And so, the woman who once had nothing became a testimony of God's faithfulness, abundance, and the power of prayer. Moral of the story: when you trust God in your emptiness, He fills you beyond measure. Prayer is the oil that keeps the lamp of faith burning, never stop playing.